19. Meeting the Buddha. I was born in a community which was considered the lowest of the low by the upper castes. I was one of those who took care of the dead bodies irrespective of their caste and burned them, reducing them to ashes. The high or the low, ultimately, all turn into ashes. I was named Mukha, which also meant dumb, because until the age of 5 I never spoke. I worked in the famous Manikarnika burning ghats on the banks of the mighty river Ganga, in the ancient city of Varanasi or Benares. Every day hundreds of dead bodies came my way. We, the burners of the dead, were considered polluted and were outcasts. We had no access to most religious places or scriptures, and naturally the only thing that gave us solace was locally made alcohol. It made us forget our humiliation and erase, even though temporarily, the memories of dealing with dead bodies day in and day out. We led a miserable existence. However, from childhood, I had this strange desire, unusual amongst us, to hide and listen carefully to what was being said when religious discourses and philosophical debates took place, which of course took place on a daily basis in this ancient city. Gradually, by the age of 35, I had realized that this world which we live in had nothing much to offer. I saw how the high and mighty fell to death and was burnt to ashes. There were brief moments of joy, but we were surrounded mostly by sorrow. My wife died while still young, and after 1 year, my daughter, who was like a tender, dark lotus, drowned in the Ganga. Life was not worth living. My only solace came from the alcohol I drank, which made me forget this harsh world. I was contemplating suicide and ending this misery once for all, but then in many religious discourses, I had heard that when one dies, one comes back again to this world. Who knows, I said to myself, these holy men must be spinning tales, but what if they are speaking the truth? Come back again into this misery. Perhaps there is some other way to end this altogether. I could not summon the courage to go near any great scholar or priest and ask for help. I knew they would just dismiss me straight away, even if I did burner of dead bodies, drunk, outcast that I was. Then one day an old monk wearing white robes, like those worn by the Naganthas, came to the Manikarnika ghat. I spotted him and wondered who he was. When he walked away, I followed him. Without turning back, he walked up to an old peepal tree and sat down. He saw me standing at a distance, looking at him longingly. "Come here," he said, and gestured with his right hand. I went towards him and stood at a safe distance. "Sit down," he said. "I'm a burner of dead," I started saying. "I know. Come sit down," he said. I sat down. "Tell me about yourself," he said. I told him my story. He listened with his eyes sometimes open, sometimes closed. When I finished, he said, "Now that you have emptied all that you carried inside you by speaking to me, do you feel better?" His was a kind voice. "Yes, O Great One," I said. "I feel light and happy. I had no one to talk to about all this. Do you have any instructions for me so that I may finally find lasting peace? Shall I follow you, or am I disqualified because I am an untouchable?" "I am not your teacher," he said, "but I will help you if you follow my instructions." "I promise." "From today, stop your work of burning dead bodies. Stop drinking alcohol. After a week, make a small thatched hut under the shade of the large peepal tree that stands not far from the rickety bridge that people use to cross the Varuna River. Wear only a coffin and beg for food from the Jain settlement, which is a mile away. Eat only once a day. Don't kill any animal for food. Keep a clay pot filled with water from the river and a clay cup to drink water with. Have a bath in the river every day early in the morning and chant the holy Om at least for an hour with your eyes closed. Continue for a month or two. One day, the great Arhat Gautama, who has attained enlightenment, will appear before you. He will walk on the pilgrim's path that leads to Saranganath's temple, besides which stands the deer park. He will be alone and walking towards the bridge. You will recognize him by the peace on his face and majesty of his gait. Wash his feet with water. Give him water to drink and seat him under the shade of the peepal tree and prostrate before him. Saying this, he got up and walked away. The next day, I left home and followed his instructions to the dot. I built myself a small thatched hut under the peepal tree and ate what came by begging. I acquired an old clay pot, cleaned it well and filled it every day with clean water from the river. I also had a new clay cup, which I never used. I was waiting for him. Meanwhile, I meditated every day by chanting the sacred Om and watching the golden sun rising. I felt relaxed and less agitated. Almost 2 months had passed when I saw what I was waiting for. On a scorching hot midday, a monk in a faded brown cloth wrapped around his body came walking barefoot on the bank of the river from the direction of Varanasi. The royal gait, majestic and leisurely, was unmistakable. My heart missed a beat. I ran out of my shed and stood looking at him as he approached the peepal tree. Now I could see the once fair but now tanned face with beautiful features. What extraordinary features! The firmness of a kshatriya, and yet so delicate, almost feminine. His curly hair was tied up in a knot on the top of his head, and he had very little facial hair. I ran forward and prostrated full length at his travel-worn feet. Gently, he touched my shoulders and bade me stand up, saying, "Enough, enough, stand up." Then he looked into my eyes and smiled. Oh, what a compassionate smile! I felt that I belonged to him like a child belongs to his mother. I stood looking at him speechless, my whole being filled with joy. I don't know how long I stood before I remembered what I had planned to do. "Oh, venerable one," I said, "I have a great desire to wash your feet and offer you some fresh water to drink. Please be kind enough to allow me to do so." "So be it," said the enlightened one. I led him to a stone slab I had placed near the peepal tree and washed his feet with the water from the mud pot. I then sprinkled the water on my head and sipped a little. Drying his feet with the corner of my robe, I took him to my thatched hut and requested him to sit down. I gave him water to drink from the mud cup I had kept for him, and standing before him, feasted my eyes on his glorious presence. With tears in my eyes, I folded my hands and said, "O Lord, glorious one, the enlightened one, how merciful and compassionate you are to come to the humble abode of the one who is a burner of the dead, and accept the water offered by this low-born. I have lost all interest in the terrible world of selfishness and sorrow. Please save me from this turbulent ocean of worldly existence." A venerable Nagantha, may he be blessed, instructed me to prostrate before you and seek help. Please help a helpless man. "Blessed soul," said the Buddha in a powerful yet soothing voice, "have no fear, you have now set your mind on the path. There is no low-born or high-born on this path. One-pointedness to reach the goal is all that you need. Cross the Varuna and come to Sarnath tomorrow. In the deer park, not far from the Saranganatha temple, I shall speak the noble truth and turn the wheel of Dharma. Sit amongst the listeners and imbibe what I say. I am not your personal guru. He waits for you in the Dronagiri mountains in the Himalayas. After many births in this world and the hidden realms, you will be born in the Himalayas near Badranath in a family of yogis and will become his disciple. But you will have to be reborn as a result of certain karmas. I am leaving now to go to Sarnath. After listening to the sermon at the deer park, your mind will become peaceful. Proceed towards Gamak, the source of the Ganga. You will drown whilst bathing in the Bajarathi in Gamak and be reborn in a wealthy family to enjoy the fruits of washing my feet and slaking my thirst. He placed his hand on my head, blessed me, and walked away towards the bridge that takes one to Sarnath. I watched him as he turned the corner and disappeared from view. The next day, I went to Sarnath and sat a little away from the group of ascetics who sat before him. As he spoke of the noble path to nirvana, my mind was bathed in peace. He looked so glorious, as if all the gods had descended together and incarnated in that simple form of the Buddha. As evening broke, I prostrated and returned to Varanasi. In a few days, I was on my way to Gamuk with a group of wandering ascetics. You have reached the end of the document.